origin, that doesn't matter. Faith is faith, okay? So my wife, I'm going to use her as an example, okay? She grew up in the Church of Disciples of Christ, but yet I found that her faith, in many ways, was even stronger than mine after 9 years of Catholic school. So because you didn't necessarily grow up Catholic doesn't mean that your faith wasn't shared with you, that your parents didn't form you in a faith and a belief in God. So a few of you, and please, I can bring the microphone around if you feel more comfortable with that. Most people don't feel comfortable with a microphone shoved in their face, but you're going to have to talk real loud so that everybody can hear. Let's hear some of the meaningful things that either came out in your own mind or that you heard somebody else share during this about faith in your families of origin. Faith sharing. Somebody be brave and start. Yes. Talk a little louder, you can use mine.
Well, talking to her is actually pretty cool. She's been growing up. She didn't go to the church as much. But the older she got to college, she actually started with the church more. So it's never too late to start.
That's right. Never too late to start. A lot of times that faith sharing won't necessarily start right in your family of origin, but the fact that something was shared that made faith interesting to you, that you asked questions when you got into college. Yeah. Somebody else. Yes.
Just by hearing,
Real loud.
Just by hearing some of the conversations, it doesn't matter where you're from or who you are. The word of the Lord is throughout the world.
It's one Lord that we all honor and that we all share. Yes. Who else? Hand up. Yes.
I think, especially in our group, it was something that stood out was the importance of like our parents teaching us and showing us the value of going to mass every Sunday and being involved in the church. Being respectful to other people and showing kindness.
Anybody else? I remember talking to somebody in youth ministry at one point. I had a lot of great parent volunteers in youth ministry program when I was here at Mary Immaculate. And of course, kids drop in and out of what we call youth group, okay? And depending on whether they were in sports that season, they might not come as much. We made it very open-ended. It was not an enrollment type of thing that they had to be there a certain number of times. This was more faith sharing than a religious education class in youth ministry. But I remember these parent volunteers were so great at sharing with kids and sharing their own faith. I remember a parent coming to me and saying, my daughter isn't sure that she wants to continue coming, which kids do that, okay, to youth group. And so I don't think that I'll be a volunteer for you next semester. And I said, what is that saying to your children? If because they choose not to be a part of faith sharing, okay, or growing up in faith, okay, you also choose to give up something that you have found enriching and being an example to them. And that parent went on and continued to be a volunteer, even though his daughter was not enrolled in the youth group at that point in time. She did come back later, but that was really impactful to her that he continued to come even though she wasn't in the group, okay? That it was important to him. He was modeling to her the importance of sharing faith with the next generation up, whether it be his own child or not, okay? One of the things I'd like to say to you is we need to have have scaffolding around our children, okay? Part of what I'm going to talk about in scaffolding is exactly what we're trying to do here in family catechesis, okay? It was very important for me to have a Catholic upbringing. I think it helped me, okay? It was very important for me to share that with my own children and my family, okay? But what was equally important was the other families that we surrounded our children with, okay? So I want you to picture one. Can you come up here? Okay. So this is, what's your name? Tony. Okay. Tony, thank you very much for being brave and coming up here for me, okay? Tony is going to be our example of an individual child, okay, that's here in our parish, okay? And he's part of a family, and faith is being shared with Tony in his family, okay? So, Tony has himself, okay? Now, I can kind of push you over like that, okay? And you could fall, okay? Now, I'd like to, where's Tony's dad? Come here. Okay? Tony, come back here, okay? You stand right here, okay? I want you to put your hand on Tony's shoulder right there, okay? This is Tony's family, okay? This is a representation of Tony's family, okay? And Tony is supported on this side of him by that family, okay? And if I try to push Tony this way, his family can hold him up still, okay? So I'm going to push, okay? And Tony's got a little support on that side, okay? We call that scaffolding, okay? Okay? But scaffolding usually has more than just one side to it, okay? So I'm going to ask Brian Morawski. Come here, Brian. Okay? Brian is going to represent, okay, our parish community, okay? So Brian, if you'll stand over here, kind of right back, kind of behind Tony there, okay? Okay, and put your hand on his other shoulder, okay? Now Tony is supported by not only his family, okay, but he's supported by the parish community, okay? And that's what we are, okay, particularly in this circle here, and what you guys are going through in this program, okay, is you're going to be supporting children in other families, okay, but you're part of our parish community, okay? This is the youth minister part, okay? You are youth ministers. Brian is a youth minister to Tony, okay? Without being declared youth ministry by the church, okay? He is a minister to Tony, okay, who is part of our parish family, okay? So again, we try to push Tony a little bit, and he doesn't move much at all, okay? Tony's supported in a lot of different ways, okay? Okay, is anybody a teacher in a public school here? Huh? Where? Come here. If you don't mind, please. Okay. And your name? Allison? Allison, you're going to represent the greater community, okay? Because Tony is also impacted a lot by the greater community, okay? Sometimes bad, sometimes good, okay? But we're going to make sure, Tony's dad is going to make sure that enough of the community that he interacts with in a positive way gives him positive examples and is also scaffolding to him, okay? So if you'll kind of put your hand on Tony also, okay? And now Tony is supported on 3 different sides by 3 different parts of scaffolding. He's got scaffolding from his family. He's got scaffolding from our parish community, our faith community, and he's got scaffolding of good faith from our wider community, okay? Tony is not going anywhere, okay? And Tony probably can't even walk out of this unless we allow him to, okay? All right? Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it. So that's what I'm talking about when I say scaffolding, and that's what this family of faith community will become over this next year. I know that's Caroline's hope for it, okay? and why she was so adamant about offering this as a form of catechesis in our parish, okay? Because this is how kids become strong in faith and strong in a community of God and strong in their own community. What are some of the ways that you remember growing up, for instance, that your greater community, not only the parish would be great, but your greater community impacted you in forming faith decisions that you made in your life? I'll give you an example. Boy Scouts was one for me. Boy Scouts was a strong connection of good morals and good faith direction, and that just worked well for me and my family as I was growing up. I feel like what I learned through my formation years in Boy Scouts, through my teenage years, has impacted a lot of why I've grown up to be who I am. Okay? How about some of your others? How did communities, either communities of parish or communities of your outside community, affect you in growing up and having a faith in God and a faith in good morals? Anybody? Yes. You're great. I love you, man. Share. Can you help her? Can you help her? You help her. Okay. Okay. All right. Here you go. I'm going to give you this. Okay.
So, it's hard, like, being, more different from others, because some people, you know what I mean? So, if I had, someone, and you said, you're more different than me, I would say, well, some people are more different, just saying that. But I think it's, easy who you are, and you should, you speak as family, some things about you, you can tell other people how you got here or differently, because my family got more differently. They come from other states and then make a bigger community.
That's right. That's great. Do you think differences are good or differences are bad? Let's give them a big hand.
Yeah.
Differences are good or differences are not so good? Good? Why are differences good? What are some examples? I'll tell you, example for me, okay, just to start off, okay, when I came to Mary Immaculate as a youth minister, okay, I had no idea what a quinceañera was. It meant nothing to me. I had no concept of what quinceañera and the Hispanic tradition of turning 15 years old meant, okay? I had to learn all of that, okay? It is, in its real form, the way that it's meant to be celebrated is a beautiful, beautiful tradition, okay? But it is one that is lost on a lot of people, and certainly those of us in the Anglo community a lot of times have no sense of what that is all about if you didn't grow up with it. What are some other ways that you think that families of origin, okay, affect and differences between your cultures, okay, affect the way that faith is shared? Talk about your differences. Yeah. Yes.
So my husband's not Catholic.
Okay, talk real loud so that everybody can hear unless you want the mic.
So he's not Catholic, I am Catholic, but, with 15 or so years, whatever, we've created this family of faith and raised our children Catholic, and I've learned a lot from him, as well as he's learned a lot from
right? Right? Other ways, differences. You can share? Come on. Here. He's gonna teach.
I don't need to use a mic.
That's great. Go ahead.
Just take a mic. So, like,
Make sure they can hear you over there too.
you guys hear me? Okay. So, like, people are more different than others, right? Like, if I said, like people are the same person. Like, I act some person. People say that, like, I look, like, different than that person. It's just that, like, if I was someone else, I would say that's fine. It's good enough. It's just good enough to be, like, happy and all that stuff. I was, like, already born with this, like, I was already born with this emotion. Like, this emotion, like, laugh. And it's weird, like, how you think of, like, someone else. Like, my cousin, his name is Noah, and he was, like, he spent, like, when he was born, he spent, like, hours standing, outside. And then when he was out, he was, like, traveling around and stuff. And I was, but my little baby cousin Nathan, he's kind of like just comfortable with my mom. And so together, but it's very different. So if like her sister, her name's Emma, and she.
We're going to know your whole family. We're going to know your extended family, everything. That's great.
And it's weird, like how, like some people say it's a mixture. You know what I mean, right? Like other people say that, like some people have like different varieties of that. I have like someone that copies me on the way I do. Her name is Sophia, and she tries to copy what I look like. She doesn't copy me what I look like. She just copies my emotions.
Yeah.
Like I have because I have like bad anger issues, and sometimes I get mad. And I change
So everybody's different, okay? But yet everybody learns from everybody else's differences, correct? Okay, thank you very much. I hope everybody's going to be sharing that much by the end of all of this. Okay? That is great. You did a great job. Okay? And talking about differences and talking about the different ways that we share brings to my mind, and I shared about quinceañeras. Okay? How many of y'all have seen the movie Coco? Okay? I loved the movie Coco. I did not grow up in that tradition of Halloween meaning that. Okay? But yet I loved the movie, and I loved what it represented. I loved the culture that it represented. I loved the message that it was giving. And I hope that I hope that my grandchildren remember me. Okay, I hope that grows up enough in my family and in my extended family that that same feeling, whether it be an actual reenactment of what happened, at Coco, but I hope that feeling is there with my extended family. Okay, I know it is with me and my grandparents that have passed on. There was one more thing that I kind of wanted to share, and I think we've got just enough time to do it, and I just want you to think about this. It may come up in other classes that we do. I'm not sure what Caroline has for all of the different classes, but there are 3 different ways that we share our faith, and I just kind of want to plant this seed with you, okay, and think about it, okay? It's called three-dimensional faith, okay? When we're sharing faith with children, there are three different ways that we share our faith, okay? First of all, particularly with the little ones, okay, we share what is our faith, okay? So we give them workbooks, we answer their questions that they might have, we talk about God, we talk about Jesus, okay? And we are sharing what is our faith, okay? The second dimension to faith sharing is how do we do our faith, okay? So we do that by taking them to Mass, okay? We do that by walking the walk, okay, of what we do in our faith. We do it by not letting a Christmas tree just be twinkly lights, okay, but it symbolizes the greater awareness of Christmas and the birth of Christ, okay. We make sure that Easter is celebrated not by just a bunny and eggs, okay, but it's by the resurrection of Christ and where it becomes, okay, part of our faith, okay. So it's not just, we don't just share our faith in words, but we're sharing our faith in how do we do our faith, okay? And as kids grow up, they learn more and more about how do we do our faith. The third dimension of faith comes more, those of you, who has kids that are, let's say, 10 years old or older, okay? You guys will know that those kids start questioning, okay? And they start questioning, why do we do our faith, okay? So the third dimension of faith is why do we do our faith, okay? Why are we doing this, and what impact is it having on my life, and what impact does it have on the rest of the world, okay? So think about, as you're growing up, as you're doing family faith this year, okay, the three dimensions of faith for the little ones, okay, it's what is our faith, okay? For the ones that are growing up a little bit older, okay, we're sharing in a very real way how do we do our faith, and then we get into particularly the teenage years, okay, we have to allow them to question, okay? We have to allow them to question their faith. We have to allow them to ask us hard questions often, okay? But they're important questions, and don't feel like because one of your children is questioning what you've taught them in their younger years, okay, that they are rebelling necessarily. They're wanting to know, why is this important? What makes this important? And what difference is it going to be for me? And what difference is it going to make for the rest of my life? And for the rest of the world around me? Question. That's most of what I wanted to share with you today, okay? I want to hear back a little bit from you. What struck you as something that was meaningful, okay? Or what are you going to try to hold on to from this session through the rest of your catechesis this year? Yes?
I think something for me it was that keeps coming up is our kids are gonna really they're looking at what we're doing and not just what we're telling them to do. I'm gonna take that with me.
That's right. Very important. Very important. Yes. Our kids are looking at what we're doing, not just what we're saying. What else? Scaffolding. Okay. Surrounding kids with more than just your family trying to support them, okay? You got to make sure that they're surrounded by a loving, faithful, parish community, or at least that's a great way to do it, okay? And you've also got to remember to surround them in community activities, whether it be good people in your neighborhood, whether it be Boy Scouts, whether it be other extracurricular activities you have, okay? Surround them in different things that are good morals, not necessarily just faith activities. My kids, I have a son up in Gainesville, and he talks still about, and he lives the faith. Okay, he has 6 kids. Okay, a very strong Catholic family. They've chosen to live that way, but he still remembers growing up and having families surrounding him. Okay. And I'll call out some names. Maybe you know them here in our parish community. The Mahaffey family. Corky is back there. Strong Catholic family. The Morawski family. Okay. The Fairchild family. The Biancos. There were just so many people that my kids knew that they could come to if they had questions about their faith, or if they had worries about how to behave, how to grow up, whether it be Catholic or just grow up. Okay, and I knew, Darla and I knew that we could trust our kids with whatever those families represented. Okay, and we were really glad for that. Scott, who I'm talking about up in Gainesville, will still come and have discussions with some of those same parents that are my age, because they were such a strong part of his upbringing in the faith. Okay. I'd like to end now with asking those questions that I asked again at the very beginning. Okay. So I'd like all of you who want to learn more about your faith and want to share your faith, okay, to stand up. Now I'd like to have you, if you're what did I say before? Did I say a parent? If you are a parent, okay, or if you're hopefully going to be a parent, okay? If you're hopefully going to be a parent, remain standing. And how about teachers, okay? Those of you who feel like you are teachers, I want you to remain standing. And those of you who feel like you are youth ministers, you remain standing. You are a youth minister, okay? And that's what I really hoped you would get through this presentation today, is the importance of being that scaffolding to the kids and the rest of this community, okay? So that everybody grows up with the kind of scaffolding around their kids that my family enjoyed here at Mary Immaculate. I've got a final prayer I want to end with, okay? And if you'll just kind of join me in a moment of silence, and then I'm going to say a prayer. Did we get song sheets handed out to you guys? Okay. Many of you know this song. I thought there were going to be song sheets. Don't worry, you know this song. Okay. It's called "Open My Eyes." Okay. And this is a song Brian and Patrick are going to lead us. Okay. And so when I end this part of the prayer, if you guys can just go right into a closing song for us. Okay. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing all of us here today as we begin this exciting and very humbling journey together. Please bless all our families in a special way, and especially our parents as they strive to witness your love in simple, practical, and loving ways each day. We ask your strength, we ask your guidance, we ask the Holy Spirit to be part of our lives and part of our family and part part of who we are as we share faith in the world around us. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Open my eyes, Lord. Help me to see your face. Open my eyes, Lord. Help me to see. One more time, open my eyes. Open my eyes, Lord. Help me to see your face. Open my eyes, Lord. Help me to see. Open my ears. Open my ears, Lord. Help me to hear your voice. Open my ears, Lord. Help me to hear. Open my heart, Lord. Help me to love like you. Open my heart, Lord. Help me to love. Open my eyes, Lord. Help me to see your face. Open my eyes, Lord. Help me to see. Open my ears. Open my ears, Lord. Help me to hear your voice. Open my ears, Lord. Help me to hear. Open my heart, Lord. Help me to love like you. Open my heart, Lord. Help me to love.
Thank you guys very much.
We do need to set the chairs back. I think Caroline might have some closing announcements tonight for us. And then if you help me, the chairs go back in just rows of 10 on either side of the aisle. And then we'll set it all back.
Thank you. I hope you guys have enjoyed our first session together. Just a few quick things. Our next event is going to be at the Rose Garden. That is the Farmers Branch Rose Garden. That's going to be October 13th, okay? I will text you all the information, but also it's on our website. And then just so that you know, the books that the kids have, go, shh, listen, shh. I need all eyes on me really quick. The books that the children have, that's their storybook, okay? So your task this month is to go home and decorate it, okay? You can put fabric on it, you can put stickers, but it needs to be a cover. That's gonna be the children's storybook. So you will see throughout the year that there will be activities where the children are going to use the book, okay? So the first thing, your first homework is to go home and decorate it, okay? And the children have already started their decoration process. I see this, okay? And then you guys look through your books if you haven't already to kind of see every month you're gonna have. You do not have to do every activity in both of the books, but they're resources for you guys to use at home, okay? So, does anybody have any questions?
quieter in the back. We're ready to go.
So he's asking, what about the catechesis for the children? The catechesis that's going to be done, you're going to work with them at home. But don't be scared, it's really not that much. Your first homework assignment is to have them to practice the Our Father, Hail Mary, and Glory Be. That's your only homework assignment for this month, and to decorate your storybook. So every month you'll have different activities, okay? But you don't have to do all of them, but you will see, the children will grow a lot, okay? Yeah, it's all in